to Radiant Success TV, where we ask experts to share their stories with you so you can be inspired, you can be introduced to new ideas, and we can motivate you to use your gifts to be more successful and make an impact. Today, I have a very interesting guest. Her name is Carrie Peele. I happen to know her personally, and she is an entrepreneur extraordinary. Let me tell you a little bit about Carrie's background. So Carrie's a brilliant entrepreneur who started and built a company called Blue Diamond Worldwide Transportation. And she built it into the largest woman-owned transportation company in the Carolinas, and then she sold it for cash in 2014, only to start her next company, Mako Documents. She's received too many awards to list them all, but here's just a few. Top 100 fleets in the U.S. for LCT Magazine, Enterprising Woman of the Year, Top 50 Entrepreneurs of the Triangle, Business Leader Woman Extraordinaire, Top 300 Small Businesses of the South by Business Leader Magazine. Pretty impressive, right? She was one of the first women in the South to be elevated to serve on the board of directors of the National Limousine Association, and she's truly a trailblazer. Now, not only that, you'd think she'd be busy enough, but she's also the founder of the Triangle Ladies Power Lunch. And actually, almost 10,000 men and women have attended her luncheons to hear some of the most powerful women in North Carolina share their journeys. And on top of that, Carrie really believes in giving back, which is so important. And she's headed up charity events and volunteered for organizations like the March of Dimes, Athena of the Triangle, which helps women entrepreneurs, the Methodist Home for Children, the Ronald McDonald House, and the Red Cross, just to name a few. So she's got some great wisdom to share with us. So let's welcome Carrie Peele.
Thank you, Janice. I appreciate it.
I'm so excited that you're here.
Gosh, I don't even know that person.
I do, and I know she's everything that this says she is.
Thank you.
So you have such an impressive background, and I know that if we go back many years, in the early 1990s, you were facing divorce. You were facing being a single mom. How did you make a decision about what to do next? Why did you choose to start a business? It's very risky.
Well, I was a stay-at-home mom, had 2 little babies, and Mr. Peele and I didn't quite make it. So we got a divorce in 1990. My father had owned his own company, with a heavy equipment company. I had an interesting background when it comes to when I was a kid. Both of my parents were entrepreneurs, and they do say that 70% of all entrepreneurs have someone in their family or a mentor of some sort that kind of gets them on that road. But I mean, when most kids were playing with Barbie dolls, I was driving high lifts or backhoes or digging holes or doing something, replacing an engine in a car. I mean, I was just daddy's little girl. And in 1990, I realized on the day of my divorce, I didn't have hardly 2 nickels to rub together, and I had these 2 little babies. Now, I had been a stay-at-home mom, okay, and I knew that I had to do something that I could control my own destiny, my earning potential. I had to take care of these 2 little princesses that I knew that wanted to be taken care of like princesses the rest of their life. And so the only thing that I could think of was to start my own business. Flat broke. I got 3 credit cards in the mail. Now, today, that would never happen because of the way that the companies talk to each other now. Walked into BB&T Bank, took these 3 credit cards, got $5,000 on each one, came out in a brown paper bag, no lie, brown paper bag. And the teller kept on saying, "Miss Peele, really? You want me to put $15,000 in a brown paper bag?" I said, "Absolutely." The dear Lord looks out for fools like me every day. He just happened to take care of me that day. Gave it to a guy, bought my first limousine. It was the wrong color. It was the wrong size. It was the wrong everything. But I learned from my mistakes, and fast forward 25 years later, we built that into one of the largest luxury transportation companies in the South. And we're very, very proud of that. It wasn't all me. There was a whole lot of people involved in it. But I'm the girl from Hard Knocks, never went to college. And I think at first that I was ashamed of that. But our family was a working family. We had a small little farm and you worked that farm. And so I didn't have the privilege of some of my friends that went to Carolina, NC State, Duke, etc. And, but you know, that actually worked out to my benefit. So I just learned from my mistakes. I always would tell anybody on the team, I don't mind you making a mistake. Just make it one time. Learn from it and go on.
You know, you're such an example for women to look up to. And I know I asked you once, what is your best skill? And what did you tell me? Do you remember?
What did I tell you?
You told me being a moneymaker.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And that's the core skill of an entrepreneur, right? So what made you decide to go down the path of being the moneymaker and not choose a more traditional role? A lot of women would have chosen a job that got them home in time to pick up the kids from school, because who was going to do that? What made you choose that?
I chose a industry that works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But we'll go back to my father again. And I remember when Mr. Peele and I got together, my father sat him down in the living room couch and said to him, son, let me tell you one thing. Just leave her alone and she'll make you money. That our family was as such that we knew the drivers that needed to make it all happen. And so yes, I picked an industry, and there wasn't a whole lot of thinking involved with it, but it was a glamorous industry. It would be one that we could grow, and plus my children got to go to everything. I mean, they got to sit in the green room with Bruce Springsteen. They got to sit on the second row behind Duke basketball. I mean, my children were just like, Mom, what you got this week, you know? And so that was interesting. Mama worked very hard, and the girls understood that. And I'm gonna tell you, those girls worked. They, every day or every weekend, they washed cars. They did anything that happened that needed to be done. It was a team effort.
So you're really giving an example to your daughters of the way to be in the world.
Absolutely. One of the things that I did for them when they were very young is they started writing contracts at the age of 10. They wanted anything, it had to be in a contract. They understood contracts by the time they were 16 years old, and we could tell you stories upon stories where that came back, and they went, thanks, Mom.
That's a good parenting tip. I like that.
I understand contracts, how they work, and that sort of thing.
That's a super parenting tip.
But I still have in my file, in my desk, I still have a file that's about this thick with 2 little girls' contracts from the time they were 10 years old until the time they were 21 and they finished grad school.
That's great. Okay, moms, that's a good tip. So what behaviors and habits do you think have made you a successful entrepreneur? Because I know we have a lot of people watching who really have so much to share with the world, and they want to know how to do it. And we both know that it's the behaviors and the thought patterns and the beliefs behind that drive it forward. So what are some of the behaviors that you've shared with me privately that I think would be really valuable for people that are watching?
Well, entrepreneurs have a passion. We always see an opportunity. That's the big difference. We see an opportunity where other folks don't. And it doesn't make any difference whether or not that opportunity is with widgets or with toys or with limousines or with documents or with whatever. We kind of figure out there's a better way to do it. We know that we have to do it differently than anybody else did it. When I look at an opportunity, I look at the ways that it was done before and how I can do it different and stand out. The other thing is I never have a backup plan. Never.
No plan B.
No plan B, because if you have a plan B, you will absolutely use it. So when I took the 3 credit cards all those years ago, I didn't have a plan B. There was only one way to do it, and that was to make sure that we made that industry a success. And we worked at it for 25 years, and there was success at the end.
So what about daily habits and behaviors?
Um,
Because that's really important.
I have an energy level that some people say it's like the energizing bunny. You know, my day starts at 5:30 in the morning. I'm in my office still until 10 o'clock at night. It's building relationships. And when I say that I'm in my office for a very short period of time in the morning and a very short period at night. But during that day, I'm building relationships. I'm out there talking to people.
So building relationships, we got to tick that off, right?
Absolutely.
Dedication, obviously.
Absolutely. People are only going to do business with you if they like you and they trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully I bring that to the table. I've tried never, ever, ever to let anyone down. My word is the only thing that I have.
So integrity, right?
Integrity. You got to do what you got to do. And if you're an entrepreneur, you've got to understand that there are times that you really want to go to your kid's baseball game and you just can't. Mm-hmm. And I have two great girls that understood that Mama's a little different, but I will say that Mr. Peele, we still love that man. And if I have done anything right in my life, Janice, it is pick the best father for my children. So him and I have always worked together on that. We knew a long time ago that these two little girls needed both of us. And part of my success is always him.
And I think, you know, another thing I see in you, Carrie, is I'd love you to talk a little bit about determination, because I think a lot of people, when they run into a roadblock, they give up or they get scared or they lose confidence.
Never give up. I've always figured out another way. And that's the point where I share with you, be different, be memorable. Where everybody's knocking on the front door, why don't you go around to the back and see what you can get, you know, what kind of trouble you can get into in the back, you know, kind of make yourself a little bit, make your way through the maze. But I have goals, and every day those goals are on 2 vision boards. And those vision boards I've had from the very beginning, and I add and I delete and I check off, and I got that one, okay, we're going after this one, and you just don't stop until you get her done.
And it's fun for you, isn't it?
Very fun.
So if it's not fun, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
I enjoy making the people around me happy with whatever I do. There has to be a point in there, and I realized that at the age of 50, that I kind of broke my life down into 3 little sections, 1 through 25. We're just growing. We're just trying to figure out what we're going to do. 25 through 50, man, you are just gathering. You're gathering stuff. You're gathering all this other kind of stuff. At the age of 50, you look and say, now, everyone that helped me through that last 25 years, I'm going to pay it forward and help someone else. And then start giving it all back. And that's the kind of phase that I'm in now.
Yeah, so the pay it forward phase.
Pay it forward.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people that's really important.
It is very, very important.
I think today more and more people are understanding they need to give something back to the world.
The only way that I can get what I want is to get what you want first.
That's excellent. That's a good conclusion. Can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah.
That's so wonderful.
The only way that I can get what I want is to get what you want first.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Now I have one more question for you. I want to know if people want to contact you, they want to learn about Mako Documents, because just tell us very briefly what Mako Documents does, your current business. Yeah.
Mako Documents, everybody is familiar with the piles of documents in their office and in their file rooms and things like that. Well, what we do as a company is we do everything necessary to that document. So we either store it off-site, we scan it, put it in our servers, we shred it, or we freeze dry it if it ever gets wet. So we've got warehouses that we store all these protected client information documents, and or we have purge events, you know, anything that happens. But Mako is just a great company. We're part of the Shark family, and we're loving it every day.
Excellent. So if people want to find you or they want to find your company, where should they go?
MakoDocuments.com. Just look for the shark. Carrie at MakoDocuments.com. My cell number is 919-606-2100.
There you
I'm
go.
available 24 hours a day.
Thank you, Carrie, so much. Thanks for being with us today and watching Radiant Success TV. We'll see you next time.